Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from whatever you're watching this channel. I'd like to start this session by appreciating you so much for making this channel grow. If you wish to support us, just subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. There is something I've come to realize, especially after listening to the big conversation on Citizen TV, NYORO, Ramogi, is that Ruto could have deliberately picked leaders or cabinet secretaries who don't understand what they're supposed to deliver or their roles. I also took time and listened to NDINDI, and NDINDI was given time by Ayub, Abdikadir, to shed more light on why there is a high cost of living, despite the fact that when they took over power, they promised that they would bring magic on the cost of living. If you listen to the video that I'm going to share with you, perhaps if you didn't watch that session yesterday, you will realize that the Kenya Kwanza team are slowly admitting that they cannot deal with this issue of high cost of living. NDINDI, when he was asked a question regarding the high cost of living, he said that ever since he was in nursery school, prices of commodities have been rising. They have been escalating. I would have loved to talk about what Moses Kuria said yesterday when he said that the issue here is about US, the mess that US made during the COVID-19 series is the reason why Kenyans are suffering. I would have loved to use that narrative. But when I heard NDINDI say that the people on the production end are happy, I was left to wonder whether he's supposed to look at the people on the production end or a common mwananchi. Because when these people took over the government, they said, hunga itashuka. I don't have to mention that part again because we've been talking about this. Everybody's been talking about it. And yesterday it formed the better part of that discussion. Why is the price of unga not retelling where it was supposed to be? And then NYORO's remarks were a bit confusing. You would wonder whether this is NDINDI speaking or is Moses Kuria or is it Samson Cheringai speaking. Because the expectation from whoever knows NDINDI is that maybe NDINDI would have given us a different answer. But he chose to give us is that the prices will always rise. So that is to mean that hakuna venye hizi bei zitashuka chini tena. I mean, that is NDINDI confirming to us that it will never happen. I mean, that we should now lose hope on that expectation. We should now stop expecting what will not happen. No magic will come that will reduce the high cost of living. So that is to say that even the farmers who are being given fertilizers, they will still sell maize at a very high rate. But again, it is not the issue of maize only. Cost of living is what see mind. I don't know why they keep on talking about farmers. There are so many other issues. There are issues like electricity, an issue like fuel. Those are things that are affecting Kenyans a great deal.
Many times we dwell on what is the cost of this, what is the price of this. Inflation as it is not just a factor of prices. And I want to give you an example. If you go to our supermarkets today to buy bread, and you go to a supermarket in the US or bread, you find that the bread in those countries is many multiples of Kenya. But you do not accuse them of having inflation because there is a variation in price. That is why when I was in nursery school, the price of uga was very different from what it is now. Is that as the prices go up, we also carry incomes of people together. I wish we had time to take this studio today, for example, to the food baskets of our country.
Okay. And the work here revolves around how then do you improve the living standards of Kenyans before you go to NDERITU MUREITHI. Talk about what you have done so far in the past 365 days. Then how do you talk to the Kenyan voter tonight is experiencing a squeezed household budget because of the cost of living crisis, a rather small in terms of his disposable income, and the skying cost who might see your submissions as rather not the reality on the ground in terms of what they are facing?
It depends on where you sit in terms of the economic spectrum. When you go at the production side, everyone in the primary production in Kenya is actually happy. Farmers are happy in this country because they can actually look at their farms and they see money. That is number one. And especially even my pay slip is squeezed. But to what end? It is squeezed to an end that is palatable. I can live with both dimensions. As we talk about the squeezed disposable incomes.
I also managed to listen to the former governor or Laikipia talking about NDERITU, MUREITHI, who sought to spill the beans about 213 billion that the Kenya Kwanza regime borrowed in a span of 1 week. And it said that the rate there, it was borrowed at the rate of 2.5%, meaning Kenyans will now have to be paying interest rates on loan between 20% and 30%.
Rate, I give you one example. Last June, they borrowed in 1 week 213 billion shillings at the equivalent of 22.5%, right. Which means you and I, as small businesses, when we go to our banks, we now have to pay 25 to 30%.
That is the reality. KK borrowed 213 billion in a span of 1 week at a very high interest rate of 22.5%. So what the former governor is saying is that Kenyans will now be forced to part with 20 to 30% that is on the interest loan. So that is the highest that we've ever had as a country. So that is what the governor said. So I listened to NDERITU MUREITHI for quite some time, listening to what he was saying, and the figures that he was mentioning there, zinashtua. But again, you know that this Kenya Kwanza regime were campaigning on the promise that they will never take loans. But look at here, they are behind the scene taking huge loans with very high interest rates. So if this is not reneging on a promise, then what is it? Ruto has suddenly reneged on a promise he gave Kenyans of not ever taking loan, nothing like state capture, to lower the price of commodity, to, I don't know, there are so many charters which he signed with so many communities which to date, none of those charters has been honored. None. In fact, the women's charter has not been honored. Take a look at the William Ruto government and tell me which woman in that government is as powerful as when Aisha Jumwa was in ODM. Just tell me of any. Definitely your answer will be none. It is only the men who are talking. So I can say that in a span of A to C or A to F, I think I agree with the pundits who gave William Ruto's team a D. I mean, that is what I agree with. I've seen others give C, D, some gave B. Of course, the people in Kenya Kwanza will want to give the president A. But I agree with this Azimio, Kenya Kwanza who gave William Ruto a D because of the reasons which I've given you, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to wind up there, but you can take a moment and give us your take below the comment section there. What do you think about what the former governor said about 213 billion being taken by this Kenya Kwanza regime in a span of 1 week at a very high rate? Tell us what you think about that. I have noticed that so many people who watch our videos forget to hit the subscribe button. Please do so. It's so important if you make this channel grow. And if you like this video gets a chance to be shared on the YouTube platform. It is so important. So ladies and gentlemen, until we catch up again, please stay safe and stay blessed.